My name's Wohn Dye. I actually served in Peace Corps twice. First from 1973 to 1976 in Ghana. In Ghana, I was worked at the University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, and I was working as a mechanical engineer in the architecture department, designing block-making machines to be used in low-cost housing. I was there with my wife, Barbara, and we had a fantastic time. After we finished in Ghana, we came back to the U.S., started a family, had careers, and about almost 40 years later, we were getting close to retirement and decided maybe we should try Peace Corps again. So indeed, from 2010 to 2013, we were volunteers in Mexico, which was also a terrific experience. We spent 3 years there, which means we extended for a year, just as we had in Ghana. In Mexico, most of what I did was teach English, but I was assigned to a couple of different research centers, and I spent a lot of time helping the researchers and the graduate students put together their articles, their scientific articles that they were attempting to get published in international journals. And because these kind of articles have to be in English, they found it very helpful to have somebody who knew English as a native language to help them out with their articles. So that's how I spent most of my time during our Mexico assignment.
Hi, my name is Barbara Dye, and my husband John and I served in Peace Corps Ghana from 1973 to 1976, and then we went on to have careers and children and so forth, and then our children were settled in their independent lives, and it seemed like a good time, so we joined Peace Corps again in 2010, and we're in Mexico from 2010 to 2013. In Ghana, my husband worked for the Faculty of Architecture at the University of Science and Technology, and I went to Ghana as what was called a non-matrix spouse, which meant I didn't have a specific job, but I was a geologist by training, and I was able to find some really interesting work to do, looking for clay in the jungle, and then also I taught a class at the university in introductory geology. So that was a wonderful experience. We lived on the university campus and really had a wonderful time. Then I went on to have a career mostly in environmental management, and in Mexico there are two programs. My husband was with Technology Transfer, and he worked for two different research institutes actually doing a lot of English translation, and at the second place, we were in Guadalajara first and then Querétaro for a year. He did translating of documents for researchers. And then I worked at two different national parks, first in Guadalajara, where I worked in Bosque La Primavera, and I did environmental education, and they brought me there to write a book about the geology of the park. And so I was able to do that for them and left the book behind. It's got wonderful geology, so it was a project of love for me. I did signs and did a bunch of outreach to kids. I had an eco club. It was a wonderful time. And then I applied for and was selected as one of the volunteer leaders, and so moved to Querétaro, where the Peace Corps office was. And then I spent half my time as a volunteer leader helping with communication and also running the SPA program, the grant program. And then the other half of the time I worked at another national park, Parque Nacional de Cimetario, and I did photography and signage for them. So all my Peace Corps experiences were fantastic. We were comfortable, had pretty nice accommodations everywhere we were, and it was so satisfying. It changed my life, and I recommend it to anyone.
Hi, my name is Daisie Hobson. I was in Mexico from 2011 to 2013. I was part of the tech transfer program there, and I was a project management specialist. I worked in a government organization, a research center in Querétaro, which was where headquarters for Mexico Peace Corps was as well. I essentially helped put in place some project management processes, training, and things like that inside the organization. And I also worked with a couple other organizations in training project managers. Probably my best experience, though, was in my community and my secondary project, which started out with one girl teaching her English. She was, I think, 7 at the time, and then she had a 5-year-old brother and a 3-year-old brother. And one of the tools I used, because I'm a tech person, I'm an engineer and came from Silicon Valley. So I had lots of gadgets. I had 2 cell phones, a computer, a tablet, and I used my computer to teach her how to, the ABCs. I found a game. Well, the kids would walk by the door and see her playing, so then they'd all want to come in. And so my English classes ended up turning into classes de tecnología, technology classes. And so by the time I left, I would have anywhere between 6 to 15 kids in my house every night. And not only did we play on computers and other gadgets, but they sang and danced, and I taught the girls how to cook my soups, which they loved, and we just had a blast. They became family to me. Even as I was leaving, the families would say to me, "Mi familia es tu familia." So I know even if I go back now, I have family and several family, and I miss it. I love them. They were so awesome. And the experience in Mexico was fantastic. Mexico isn't what everybody thinks it is. It's more.